Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Semi-Pro Film Show. My name is Dalton Barrett, but you may know me better as Barrett Digital, and in the screening room with me, I've got my good friend...
It's me! Hi, I'm Josh Clements, aka Brit Edit, and we've got a very special guest today.
He's not special.
It is.
He's a special boy.
I'm filling in. It's Aitesam Farooq, aka Spider Monkey.
He's a very special boy.
Yes.
I'm not special.
We love him to death, and he's going to bring in, he's going to bring in a lot of listeners. So we need to keep him on just for a little bit because he's got that big following or whatever.
I don't think I will.
So the reason we had him on is because we talked him into doing a Twin Peaks binge with us, with me and Josh. And so to keep up with our Twin Peaks month that we kicked off this January, we're doing the Twin Peaks movie, the prequel movie, Fire Walk With Me, as our commentary track for the month. And we're super excited because Josh hasn't seen it, but me and Aitesam have both seen it. And so we're just gonna hop in and watch it together.
I cannot wait for this.
So we're if you have the Criterion release of this movie, you're gonna want to go about 20 seconds in. If you've got any other release of this movie, you should be able to start it right before the title screen comes up. So we'll do it like we did last time. We'll do a little 3-second countdown, and then we're all going to hit play. If you're watching on YouTube, you can try and sync it up with the little screen in the middle of your screen, but I would be very doubtful that you can do that. So, all right, everybody ready?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're going, fellas.
We're going.
So, like I said, Josh hasn't seen this.
No, this is my first time watching it.
I'm excited for him to be traumatized by what this is.
Absolutely.
I love Twin Peaks. I've seen the first half of The Return. I've seen season 1 and 2, obviously. I am looking forward to this. It's been hyped up very much so by Dalton and by the horror that Aitesam has instilled when he talks about it.
It's traumatic.
I do want to say, as simple as these opening credits are, I do really like them. Because I like that color, because it's such a sharp contrast from the red that's so prominent in the show to go from red to like this just royal blue. It kind of leans into the fact that this is different.
Yeah, it's not.
That could be
also the music. I have expected I more expected the intro from the show to be a thing in the intro.
Yeah,
but
it does.
The song caught me off guard, and I did enjoy it.
They use it in the movie, but not in the opening credits.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with a smooth saxophone.
Oh yeah, it's very. Also, ironically, this is probably what Laura Palmer, the last thing that she saw.
Blue Static?
Because she was wrapped in
plastic.
We should all apologise because at least half of this is just going to be us saying stuff from Twin Peaks that has probably been said a million times in very bad accents. It's the coolest person in the world, by the way. Shout out James Marshall.
Man.
Oh, Keith Toplin's in this. Lovely.
Yeah, it's Venom Snakes in this, man.
I love when he shows up and stuff. I'm surprised his dad's still alive.
Kept you waiting.
Here he is, boys! Kyle MacLachlan, as Special Agent Dale Cooper. That's what we like to see.
We stand Kyle MacLachlan. If he isn't, I'll be very disappointed that he doesn't have a role in Dune.
Well, I would highly doubt that he would because the old Dune movie is so panned. Everybody hates it, so I don't know why.
I have to still watch that movie, and I'm more excited for it because of Twin Peaks.
Should also note, Mark Frost was a producer on this, but he didn't write any of this, which should be noted. It does have a drastic tone shift because of that.
And I know this opening credit, like I know this part, just because I've seen it talked about, and I love the symbolism, the very subtle symbolism.
Yeah, it's super subtle. David Lynch definitely knows subtlety. She's dead, wrapped in plastic.
Well,
there he is. What a man. What a man. Gordon Cole is
Just look at him in all his glory.
in his office.
I love this man so much.
Here's
Now, this is the Twin Peaks I know and love.
here's rip-off Dale Cooper.
He's not as cool as actual James. He's a fake. Oh, man, I'm so excited for this. He looks like Matt Smith.
Oregon.
I love him so much. Oregon!
I love this. Oh,
It's so great.
David Lynch has this great way of making just the most awful things in the world hilarious. There's a dead girl!
So I'm in the middle of watching Twin Peaks: The Return. So seeing him young again is so weird.
It is. Especially because he's in the same role here that he is in The Return, and it's great.
Great.
Little bit of trivia. This agent here was supposed to be Dale Cooper, but Kyle MacLachlan wanted his role in the movie cut down to avoid being typecast as this FBI agent type character. So that's kind of why they wrote in fake Cooper.
Fake Cooper. He's not as cool as the real Cooper.
No, nobody could ever be. The glad hand.
The trench coats are amazing.
They really are. Well, this was like 95, am I right?
It was 2 years after the show ended, so 92, 93?
92, yeah. This was still kind of running off the 80s thing of just like every clothes has to be ill-fitting.
We're in full Lynch territory already.
Yep, you got a woman dressed entirely in red. My mother's sister's girl.
It's just full Lynch already. It's like it's the woman in the radiator all over again.
I like that. You can see Lynch is going a bit grey in the temples.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the David Lynch. This is just going to be a David Lynch fan commentary.
Yes,
he has the most glorious hair in the world, and that will never change.
This is
he
important.
He has more hair in The Return than I have right now.
I love this. He's just like, though that woman was there for a reason.
Sure, she was. See, this is more what you'd expect from like Twin Peaks,
Right?
Like a show going into Twin Peaks, like, oh, they're gonna have problems with us, and we're gonna have problems with them, and it's just gonna go back and forth, back and forth. It's like Sherlock.
Right. It's just.
It's like if David Lynch tried to explain his work.
Right.
Mother
It's. It's great.
I love this. I love this so much.
I know he's explaining everything, but I just get more confused because of the visual.
Uh-huh.
Because it's so distracting and so weird.
I love how the FBI just has all these codes for these different things.
Oh yeah. They can't just explain it.
No,
That'd be too simple.
no files here. Just a dancing woman.
Oh, so that's what the blue rose means.
Yes.
That makes, like I say, I've seen The Return, so I kind of this is like it's like putting together a puzzle, but you've already cut out half of it.
You do the puzzle backwards. You're only looking at the back pieces.
But exactly.
You're just looking at plain cardboard.
Yeah, I have to not eat it.
So Deer Meadow, I love Deer Meadow because it's essentially just the anti-Twin Peaks. Like it's the exact opposite of the opening of the show where, the Cooper type character comes in but the whole town just feels like the opposite of Twin Peaks.
Horrible.
Right. Everything is horrible.
Everyone is horrible and everything is horrible.
Right.
I like Keith Sutherland just kind of sitting in the back like a little boy.
Yes.
You look like a young David Lynch. So this is more what you'd expect going into like Twin Peaks at the time.
Right. Exactly.
Sheriff Cable.
I'm a big fan of the deputy here too.
He reminds me of that character in The Return.
Yes.
The one who just hates everybody.
This version of Lucy too also gives me a chuckle. This not Lucy, just sitting there reading her book.
And
She's
laughs at everything.
She's the anti-Lucy because she's reading, so that makes her smart.
I like how they're just laughing at their own really bad jokes. It's weird. This doesn't actually feel too. Okay, no, never mind. I was gonna say this doesn't feel too Lynchian, and then he grabbed the nose.
Well, I mean, you don't want to just drop people in. You've got to ease them. We did just have the dancing girl with the blue rose.
Blue rose. People need a break.
Do you think Diane ever was the dancing girl for the FBI? You would have to think so, right?
All the time. Yeah, all the time. He even looks like Andy.
See, he reminds me of Red Foreman from that 70s show. If you mixed him with Lurch.
It also reminds me of RoboCop for some reason.
He reminds me of that guy in RoboCop who gets like covered in acid and then hit by the car.
Yes.
He looks like if you took any middle-aged celebrity and mixed them with Lurch. He's got a little bit of Michael Keaton, a little bit of Tom Hanks, but just mixed with Lurch.
It's the bald spot doing something for me.
Right.
I like the enormous saw in the back.
Well, they're a wood town.
That's the kind of Lynch stuff that I love. Like the tiny details that make no sense and don't play into anything.
Yeah.
He reminds me of someone too, honestly.
Special Agent Dale Cooper.
Special Agent Fake Cooper.
No, it's he reminds me of Marty's dad from Back to the Future.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can see that.
Like I feel like he's about to get himself beat up by Bill.
He's about to have his own son hit on his wife.
He's about to cuck himself out to his son.
Right.
I've never watched Back to the Future.
You what?
Yep.
Oh.
I know most of what happens in Back to the Future because everyone's talked about it. I never watched all three of the movies.
Come on, Aitesam.
I know. I have a lot of catching up to do.
Chet Desmond is played by Chris Isaac, who is a singer, it appears, not an actor. So that explains some things. I was looking to see what other movies he'd been in, but I can't find any outside of this. So that's apparently a theme in this.
I love that.
He was in Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, really?
I don't know who he played, but he was in it. So
I love the 2-second close up on the newspaper.
Uh-huh.
Cable Ben Steele.
I love it. I love the music in this too. It's Angelo Badalamenti. I know that.
Badalamenti does a great job with whatever they're handed.
Oh yeah.
She's dead.
Wrapped
in plastic. We do finally get to see Teresa Banks, which she's mentioned a lot in the first season of the show, but we never get to see her.
Yeah, she's Coop talks about it a lot. It's like the first case in a serial killer.
Right. Well, Bob's serial killing. Yeah.
Which is also kind of funny because I don't think you can have a serial killing with just one person.
I think as soon as it's two, if it's two and they're killed the same way, I think that's when it becomes a serial case.
Yeah,
I think that's how it works. So Laura Palmer would have been the second, which just
they called it a serial killer before, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, the opening scene of the first season of Twin Peaks is Laura Palmer being dead, wrapped in plastic. So
Dead and wrapped in plastic.
It's all about the fish and the percolator, you know.
There's a fish in the percolator. There's not all that much.
I was too distracted with him. I forgot about Palmer.
I also love the just the idea that they're examining this body while just talking about where they're going to go get dinner. Like, it's
The
great.
gallows humor, though.
They're just so desensitized to everything.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the beauty of David Lynch. It's just the kind of minute stuff, like the fact that they're talking about dinner at all. That we have to see them talk about dinner, because why not?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
it's show don't tell. That's very much David Lynch. He doesn't tell what's going on. He
Cool.
he doesn't really show what's going on either. But he likes.
Whenever they mention something, they do make sure to go through with it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
there's stuff in here that is set up in this movie that is paid off in a TV show that came out 20 years later. So it's
I will see you again in 25 years.
correct.
I love like watching a David Lynch movie. It's like staring at a painting 4,000 miles away,
Correct.
and just like you can just about
Ugh.
make out the colors if you're lucky.
Ugh.
Oh,
It gets me every
I love
time.
that. I love that.
I once
I hate him.
I once lost a fingernail, and that's exactly how they come off.
Oh,
It's horrible.
I once bit my fingernail too deep, and that was the worst pain I've ever experienced. I can't
Oh, yeah.
imagine.
see, I'm a nail biter, and I always bite my fingernails too much, so I end up like biting into the skin.
So this is way too gruesome of a story to be telling on a public podcast. But I slammed my finger in a car door, and the fingernail. I had to pull the fingernail off because it completely just like you killed the ends of the nail is what happened. So I had to pull the fingernail off. But what happened when I shut it in the door is it shifted my nail bed to the side. So I only have about half of a fingernail because it grows in at an angle on that finger. And what the quick of your fingernail is the part that when you bite it too low is exposed, and that's what hurts. And that's what half of my fingernail is now. So I've just had to get used to it being like that, and it hardens up over time, but it's still very sensitive, like to touch and stuff.
Oh, does it hurt still?
Not really. I've kind of gotten. It's more like I've gotten used to it than it doesn't hurt. But
They're having dinner now.
I like this place, the anti R&R.
right, what is it? Lap's Diner.
Yeah, that's what it says. I also like how literally it's inverted. Like
Yes.
whenever you see the R&R in the original Twin Peaks, they always show it. It's more this sort of angle, like you see it coming in,
Yeah.
and then it's literally turned around.
If you're watching on YouTube, then it is inverted. But this woman here,
The
She-
anti-shadow.
she creeps me out just by talking.
It's the teeth.
Yeah, I think she's British.
I was waiting for you to make that joke.
Yep. She had a little problem with
funny.
cocaine, Josh. So she's
funny.
definitely British.
Yes, yesterday was a Tuesday.
Well, yeah, we're recording this on Tuesday.
Right.
For me, it's Wednesday.
Yeah, technically Wednesday.
This will go up on it'll go up on a Saturday, so nobody's gonna understand that, but that's fine.
I don't take.
I don't take drugs, but I'm smoking a cigarette.
I hate this guy.
That guy is like every kid when you go to a sleepover. And like, oh, when we watched that movie earlier, and it's like it's after 12 o'clock. So he goes, "Actually, don't you mean yesterday? Because we watched it yesterday."
Who's the towhead? I do want to start using that as a genuine insult. A freak accident.
Oof.
It's just the way she's delivering all the lines.
Yeah, so slow. She killed her, 100%.
Everyone in this town talks so like slow and deliberate. And that's what's weird. That's what's so unsettling about it to me. Everybody talks so deliberately with their delivery.
I also love how everyone just kind of looks like someone in Twin Peaks. Like he looks like Pete.
Right.
It's the Twin Peaks multiverse.
I can't wait for the TPCU.
TV.
The Spum Sea.
The spunk. No, it's the tapum. The tapunkum. Tickapum.
Oh.
Kiefer Sutherland has. I can't pronounce his name right now, but
Kiefer Sutherland is right.
I'll just say Venom Snake has the Matt Smith get up right now, which is nice.
Yeah.
I also like how she just says. I like how she's just like, "Oh, her mom was dead for 3 days."
That's another thing that's set up here that pays off in The Return. It's great how much of that happens. The first time I watched this, I thought my DVD skipped.
Yep. It's incredible.
That's like who was the comedian that used to do that? Where he messed with the vertical hold on his
Andy
on his
Kaufman.
show. That's the one. Yeah, that's the really out there stuff that I kind of love. Just because it's so extra to mess with your audience through the way that they're watching their show.
David Lynch is the Andy Kaufman of filmmaking. I love that too. You want to hear about our specials? We don't have any. I also, it's neat symbolism, and we're going to talk about The Return somewhat periodically throughout this because it really makes a great companion piece. But we're about to go into the the trailer park here, which we never see a trailer park in Twin Peaks. But we do see a trailer park.
I just realized this.
It's the same character in The Return.
I completely forgot about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I that's a really nice thing.
Same actor.
But
Harry Dean Stanton, a famous B-movie actor.
Right. We do get into the trailer park in The Return, and I think that's really neat symbolism for how downhill Twin Peaks has gone without the positive force of a Laura Palmer or a Agent Cooper there in The Return, because the town that doesn't have those positive forces already has this dingy trailer park. And then The Return Twin Peaks now has that dingy rundown trailer park, which we never see in the original series. So I think that's really neat symbolism that Lynch was able to pull off there too.
It's a good comparison.
There she is, Teresa Banks. There it is. I want that ring.
I'm a huge fan of rings. I have like 8-9 rings, and I'd really like to add that one to my collection, but I just cannot find it anywhere.
It's probably on Wish. Everything's on Wish.
Everything's on Wish.
Wish doesn't deliver here, man, which is sad.
Maybe Etsy. Try Etsy.
Yeah, Etsy's a pretty good bet.
I'm gonna get my wedding ring engraved with the symbol on it.
Don't.
You're
gonna end up in the lodge.
I'm gonna end up in the Black Lodge.
We if you're out there and you're listening to this, do you wanna talk about Dougie Jones in it?
I want to save Dougie Jones for people who haven't seen, because I feel like there may be some people watching along with different Twin Peaks things here. I want to save Dougie Jones. I don't want to spoil Dougie Jones for anyone.
Dougie Jones can be spoiled, even if we tell people about it. It's just such a great character.
Oh, Dougie Jones is incredible. Dougie Jones.
Dougie Jones.
I told you this will be about 2 hours of us just quoting random various Twin Peaks.
I don't know if this character is supposed to be a woodsman or not, but she kind of looks like a woodsman.
Yeah, like the early version of a woodsman.
Right.
Yeah, I can see it. Well, it doesn't help that she's got like the soot on her face.
Right. That's kind of what makes her look like one.
Right. And also the colors are very similar.
Got a light.
Got a light.
This is the water. And this is the well.
Well,
Drink full and ascend.
Okay, Yoda.
you sounded like Yoda.
Water, this is well.
The greatest teacher failure is
Descend, yes.
Yoda is like the most David Lynchian character to exist outside a David Lynch movie.
Oh man, there are these old Wilkins commercials with Kermit the Frog in them. It's actually the first time Kermit the Frog was ever in anything, where Kermit just murders this guy who doesn't drink Wilkins coffee. Like, that's the commercial. It's like, oh, do you drink Wilkins coffee? And the guy's like, nope, I don't like coffee. And then he just like blows him up with TNT. And if you told me David Lynch directed those, I'd believe you.
It should be worth knowing that, like, yeah, I love David Lynch's stuff. And even the periods where it's just nothing, like nothing's happening, it's just characters looking around, you somehow still want to keep watching.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
But David Lynch's biggest strong suit outside of the artistic stuff is his character writing.
Well, yeah. Well, I'd say his biggest strong suit is probably his visual style.
Definitely he has a great visual style, but his character writing is I don't want to say unmatched, but it's certainly his own thing.
Unique.
His biggest strong suit is just being really weird.
David Lynch exists in a David Lynch movie.
He's connected to the moon.
He's connected to the moon.
Moon.
He does exist in a David Lynch movie, and his name is Gordon Cole.
Gordon Cole. Copious amounts of cherry pie.
Oregon.
Oh. Cool. It's Cole.
We do get a lot more of Gordon Cole in The Return than we do in anything else, which is great. He's basically the main character of that, which is super fun. Who would you say this is going to be a tough question for Josh. Who would you say is a better character writer, David Lynch or Rian Johnson?
I knew you were going to say that. We need to. There comes a point where we may need to stop bringing up how great The Last Jedi is in every podcast.
No, we don't.
I think I'd say maybe David Lynch. I love Rian Johnson's character writing, but Rian Johnson's best character work was Luke, and that was an established character already. And his original characters are still great. Don't get me wrong. I love Martin. I love Harlan.
Where's my hot water?
I don't know. I love something about Lynch. Just elevates it ever so.
Carl, give me my hot water, Carl. Well, David Lynch's is certainly more original. Because Rian Johnson, even like Benoit Blanc, the absolute Chad that he is.
But he's just a parody of Hercule Poirot.
Right. He's no he's no Special Agent Dale Cooper.
He's no what's this guy's name? Chet.
Chet.
Every time I say Chet, I just think of Psycho 4, which I know people haven't seen, but Chet in that is he's the dad I think he's the stepdad actually. He's Norman's stepdad.
Here's a big plus, though.
An absolute worst person on earth. He's just like, you gotta hit a woman if they don't listen to you. It's really like toast.
So it's Tracy Bond's dad.
Yeah, so it's Sean Connery.
Right. At least we remember Chet's name. I mean, normally at this point in the movie, we would not know the character's name. Because we're both really bad at that. Granted, this is the second time I've seen it, so.
But yeah. But,
I didn't even remember his name from the first watch.
I like that the propane tanks are spray painted like gold.
It's like a precursor to the golden shovel.
I mean, it's like they're straight up just spray painted gold. The rings in this do look better than the rings in
I love that it's still got the Twin Peaks style freezing fade back.
Fade out.
The Chad.
The best.
His hair doesn't look as good in this, but it still looks great.
Because it's middle side parted. It's not pushed back, like combed back.
I like that this is just how Coop greets the mornings. Like, it's not something special. It's just that's how he wakes up.
Man, I was watching an episode of The Return like a couple of hours ago, and seeing them both young is just throwing me off.
It's incredible, though, isn't it?
Because I've been binging them, and it's been like I've gone through the full binge in like 2 weeks, so they've aged so much for me within 2 weeks. Because this is the first time I've seen both of these actors in some sort of property. I hadn't seen them before other than in Twin Peaks.
I also love this. It's just Cooper walking back and forth to look at himself.
It's like the first time that Coop's ever seen the camera in his life.
The concentration in his face.
But it's
That's the most Dougie Jones that Cooper ever gets.
well, but that's completely in line with something he would have done in the original show.
Yeah, well, yeah, Coop like greets everything with this childlike wonder of just
Now,
like it's the first time you've seen it. Think, the other Chad.
the other Chad.
So the
loving
first
it.
time I watched this scene, I could not understand it, and I had to ask Dalton to explain it to me. Because I don't know, it just confused me so much.
Oh, I like that. That's terrifying. Love it.
Absolutely.
I like that little jaunt that Philip Jeffries has.
Yes. It's really great.
I love the music here. It's so like low.
I'm not gonna talk about Judy at all.
The accent that he puts on, he famously like hated it. But I think it's really good. I think it's a really good Louisiana accent, but he just hates it. There's a woodsman there. Garmenomzia. I just love it because none of it makes sense. Nothing makes sense.
Green is that's color. This is absolutely. This plays like a cursed video. Like, you know, the backroom stuff that you find on 4chan and Reddit.
Yeah. I didn't understand this scene
That's
initially.
that's David Lynch's grandson.
Oh.
That's why he has the great hair.
The great
The
David
great
Lynch hair.
hair.
This also is something that pays off in
The Return.
The Return. Like I said, that's a woodsman. It's an early woodsman, but it is a woodsman.
Got a light?
The electricity thing pays off in The Return. The Weekend is in this scene.
Blinding lights?
This is the weirdest wedding I've ever been to.
There it is.
This is what makes David Lynch great. Just none of this makes sense. Yeah, it is both terrifying and
You just make sense of it on your own.
You can't stop looking at monkey. You can't stop looking at it.
That's the monkey from What Would Jack Do? Or What Did Jack Do?
Oh, that's me when I wake up in the morning.
Right.
I love this so much. It's just, I feel like this is just what David Bowie's everyday life was like.
Right. This is so fascinating to me too because it's like, what an interesting concept that I've never seen done. Guy walks in, he's on the security cameras, they know he was there, but he was actually never there. Like, how interesting of a thing to do because, like I said, I wouldn't have been able to think of that, but somehow David Lynch was.
I also like that, again, this is David Lynch's whole thing, you know? Show, don't tell. Show Cooper being in two places at once, and then don't tell.
Right, exactly.
I also like
Show something that doesn't make sense and don't tell us how to make sense of it.
exactly.
It's like
That's the way
Tenet.
to go about it.
It's just like Tenet.
David Lynch is basically
Twilight.
Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan aspires to be as great as David Lynch.
Right.
I'm going over here.
Going over here now. I love that he's just a normal person.
Yes.
Like he's not like a Twin Peaks character. He's just a guy trying to make a living, and all of these people are acting so weird around him, and he's just like, yeah.
David Lynch is really good about doing that, just putting like people or lines or whatever into the series to be our eyes into this weird world. I think Detective Harry or Deputy Truman in the original show is that for the show, but then there are all sorts of them just scattered throughout the rest of the Twin Peaks stuff.
Those characters are the equivalent to, and this is a weird comparison. They're equivalent to that character from the B movie, whose wife leaves him for a bee, and then he's treated like he's insane for not wanting to be left cucked by a bee.
Cucked
Incredible.
by a bee. The B movie is a traumatic movie.
That's the next commentary track.
It shows you that your wife can be so happy and you have nothing.
We actually have some nice plans for this, some commentary tracks this year.
Yeah, I know we said that we were going to kick off Raimi Month, but we thought it'd be good to do this movie as a commentary as opposed to interrupting it with something else.
Yeah, Raimi Month will kick off next week. Next month.
Raimi Month is all year round.
It's going to be half the year. We're doing 6.
We're doing his 2 most famous trilogies, Quibi and Quibi.
I've said this before. I really think that a Twin Peaks spinoff could work if you got the right director for it. And it doesn't follow Cooper. You can't have it follow Cooper. It's got to just follow the FBI team, the Blue Rose team. Maybe not even... Oh, there it is. There it is. Now we're kicking off the actual story. So we had, 35 minutes of not the actual part of this movie.
You had 35 minutes of setup to the original series.
Exactly.
Man, this intro is so good.
I love this music. It's Minecraft music, but I love it so much.
It's so sad yet uplifting. You know how sad this music is?
Here was the most off-putting part of the whole movie for me. And it's New Donna.
Yeah, New Donna just aged down, surprisingly.
Yeah. Who, the original actress, I think had to leave just because of scheduling conflicts.
That's the official story. A lot of people think that there was some more that went on behind the scenes, but nonetheless, we'll leave it with the official story. But like I said, I think you could do it and just call it like Blue Roses or something. And if like I said, you'd have to get the right. Mike looks 50 here.
Mike looks like he's already denying people based on their resumes.
But that's the thing.
It's nice they got the original sets back.
There he is.
Cool.
He's so cool. He's balding at age 15, but he's so cool.
He's always been cool.
I mean, you can only do so much, but none of the high school characters in this look like they're in high school, except for Donna because she was recast.
I was really upset that they didn't do a callback to that kid from the first episode of...
That kid looks like Pop.
The first kid that just does like a side moonwalk into the classroom.
One of the things I love about this is Laura Palmer snorting coke over the peaceful Twin Peaks music.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's such a great thing of like this really peaceful music. It's like a really average day. It's lovely outside. She's just in the bathroom.
It's great. And then here's James.
Like Minecraft.
He's the coolest man on earth.
This is the the part I'm gonna have to censor when we edit.
This is the awkward bit.
Oh boy, I can't wait to.
Bobby's just the coolest guy.
Bobby's so cool. I love Bobby. Genuinely,
Bobby's
I love Bobby.
cooler than James.
Bobby's way cooler than James.
Watching that's also really weird in COVID times where like you can't even touch your own face.
You're gonna think twice or like 10 times before doing something like that.
Well, someone I saw a thing on Twitter where it's like we actually used to go to bowling alleys and just stick our fingers into bowling balls that thousands of other people had touched before that hadn't been washed, and then use those same fingers to go eat food that hadn't been properly prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not a turkey, Laura.
You're not.
You're not a turkey. I hate James so much.
He knows just what to say.
Hey man, James is cool.
James has always been cool. It is neat that we get to see...
The emotional side.
Well, not only that, we get to see more of Cheryl Lee in this movie than we ever did in the original, and even the return for that matter. And she's so great in this role. Yeah. I mean, she's genuinely...
The character got really fleshed out in this movie. And you understood a whole lot more.
Well, it's like David Lynch loved her so much that he wrote a whole new character just so that she could come back for the actual series.
Right.
And she's a fantastic actress. She's a great scream queen. She makes you believe that she's about to be murdered.
Oh, her screams are... Oh, boy.
Oh, here we go.
Megan, if you're watching, I'm covering my eyes.
Hey, I'm a good Muslim boy. I'm looking away.
I'm an agnostic man, so I've got my eyes
Wide open.
There he is. There's Bobbye. What a line.
Oh,
Bobbye.
come on, Bobbye.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy, yeah.
Oh boy, yeah.
Oh boy, yeah.
but as I was saying, back to my point, I'm gonna continue this until I finish it, which may be the end of the thing. You get a Jordan Peele to direct it, and you call it Blue Roses, and it's just about these special supernatural cases, and you do the whole movie, or a whole little series, and you'd even make it an anthology, have each season be about a different case that they work. I think it could work really, really well if you distance it from Twin Peaks enough, but still kind of set it in that same supernatural world. I think it could be really neat.
Here's a question for you, though. What are some other, movie releases or show releases that you think take place in the Twin Peaks world?
Oh, that's a great question.
Before you answer, I just want to point out this is the best callback scene because Bobbye does this the first time he enters high school in the first episode, and that's one of the most memorable scenes for me.
That also means that he probably enters like that every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how he that's when he's selling coke. That's what he does. He dances like that to people.
Just
so
cool.
I'm gonna go with my number one pick will be hold on. My brain no worky.
Brainworms?
Yes, I've got brainworms.
It's all the coke you're doing, Dalton.
Yeah, exactly. It's all the coke I'm storing in the bathroom while I listen to Minecraft music. The Shining series. So both The Shining and Doctor Sleep, I'm going to say, take place in the Twin Peaks universe.
Oh, Doctor Sleep, I would say.
Mine's a weird one. I think The Day the Earth Stood Still is a very...
I like it.
Is a very
I'm going to go one step further.
Oh boy.
And I'm not talking about a whole franchise here. I'm talking about one movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo Zombie Island.
I like it. I like it.
I would love a David Lynch directed Scooby-Doo movie.
Going back to what you said have Jordan Peele directed. Okay, have Sam Raimi directed.
Well, or Jordan Peele type. I don't think Sam Raimi could probably pull it off, actually, now that you say that.
That had some of the similar things, like just weird characters, weird progression, weird cuts. That just makes sense because that's his style.
Yeah, I think it could work. There's definitely some Lynch influence on Raimi's work, I would have to say.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Neil Breen's movies will take place in the Lynch verse.
Absolutely they do. Are you kidding me?
Nice.
Robot in the Family. Robot in the Family is just one of the dreams that Cooper had before coming to Twin Peaks.
When he came in this morning, he was like, I need to talk to you about a dream I had. It was actually just Robot in the Family over and over again.
Uh-huh.
Which I like that we're talking over these two people and have a very deep, real conversation about what it means to like love and want to be with someone.
We should, if you don't want to get traumatized later on, don't feed into what they're talking about because it's going to hit you really hard.
Oh yeah, the whole like the angels won't help you.
Yeah.
Evil's won.
The falling in space thing is interesting in the context of the return, because you have the scene where in the White Lodge they send the Laura Palmer egg into space, and so it's like, oh yeah, she would have some experience with that.
I love that we're watching this thing that more or less is like a drama about high school students, and then we commentary over it with the Laura Palmer egg.
Laura Palmer egg.
The leg.
The leg.
I am the arm.
The evolution of the arm. There's the diary, the infamous Laura Palmer diary.
Yeah.
Like the little head nod. Just so everybody knows, this is not the best movie to do a commentary of.
No, here's the thing. Like I say, David Lynch includes a lot of just sort of long stretches when nothing quite happens.
Right.
So we kind of have to just move
Great
over it.
commentary on just past the halfway point.
The page missing. It's kind of the first indication of Bob being here, which is
Like
frightening.
things going wrong.
Everything so far has been somewhat normal. I mean, in the Laura Palmer stuff, Philip Jeffries came in and told us we're not going to talk about Judy, and then now here we are.
This,
Amazing fade-outs.
I'm very much. I love that he. I love that he faded out for one shot.
Yeah,
And then faded out again.
it's
It's
great.
amazing.
It's good
Amazing.
to see this guy back. I really like him.
Yeah.
His arc was pretty sad.
Yeah,
Not much.
it's it's super interesting, especially him not believing in Bob, just for the little bit, because we see when he's in the original series that he does believe in Bob and believes in that, but in this he doesn't. So it's neat to see him go from thinking it's something in her head to being something real.
That's a pretty troublesome, like, realization, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, hey, she's been raped since she was 12.
It's man. And if you haven't seen the original series, don't watch this because there is something that's spoiled. But they don't spoil it in the movie until the reveal at the end. They treat it like they could have just really
They
messed it
could've
all
done
up.
like the get-go.
Right, exactly. And the fact that they don't, like, it still puts this little grain in the back of your head of like, well, maybe it's not. And it's horrible. It's it gives me chills. Ugh. And Cheryl Lee. Oh man,
Her acting's just it's phenomenal.
yeah. She shifts emotions so well.
Her switch from like troubled to like angry and to just nervous just gets you feeling. This is why, Josh, I said this movie is going to be traumatic because you see a lot of this.
Well, you forget I'm desensitized to a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, you say that. But like we
That
said
is-
last time, the story behind what is happening, there was stuff in just the original show, which was a primetime network show, that got under my skin. And that was just like talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like they couldn't show any of that stuff then. Actually seeing it is even worse. And the context of what's going on just makes it so horrible. And David Lynch's stellar writing just to make you actually feel what's happening. It's like I said, it's horrible. I mean, it's great, but it's horrible.
It's great and sad at the same time.
Extremely sad. Well, the entire series is sad. It's just paired with stuff that makes you laugh.
Right. And there's not much of that in here. You have the missing pieces, which is basically just, I'm sure there's a fan edit out there of the missing pieces edited into this movie, but it's horrible. Because there's none of that comedy in this. There's no James singing with
the most feminine voice ever.
right. There's none of that in this, and it's just on its
Stop saying I
own.
want to taste you through your mouth, which is
Right.
just horrifying.
Exactly. Through the electricity, which is another thing that comes back up in the return that's never explained.
Ah, back to the chat.
Right. I like how serious he is here on his own. When he's not like conversing with real people, he's just super serious.
Yeah, because he acts like an FBI agent.
Right, exactly. Like what you would expect.
Right, but then when he enters Twin Peaks, he's like, I had this lovely, lovely pie on the way to the town. It was wonderful and amazing.
What kind of trees are those?
Right. Blonde.
Well,
Ugh. This is the first we kind of see of the just him being taken seriously when he says this stuff, which comes back up in the original series. You know, he's like, he has all these dreams and stuff. It's very interesting just to see it kind of as a precursor.
Yeah. Tibet.
Tibet. Like, people take him, the town takes him seriously there, but you can still tell there's this bit of like, I don't believe you. Whereas here it's like, no, we're on board with this. This is our job. We're used to this. Yeah, Norma here, her hair is way shorter than it is in the original series, despite the fact that it takes place like 2 weeks prior.
It's the week before, is it?
I think it's 2 weeks. I think. I could be wrong. I thought it was
like the last week of Laura's death.
I guess it could. Hold on. Let me try and see.
This is the original concept for DoorDash.
Right.
Meals on
too.
Incredible. And then that old woman is in the original with David Lynch's grandson. It's one of the people who Laura delivers, groceries to.
It's Donna that goes there and finds out about the guy with the diaries.
Right. David Lynch's grandson has that creepy mask.
Yeah.
Is that David Lynch's grandson? Because I know they switched actors for this in the series.
Did they? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they switched actors for the boy for this in the series. Maybe because his grandson looked too old.
That could be it. I know they definitely did.
He's got his hair still.
Right. Maybe maybe that's why they threw in the mask.
Mm.
I like that Shelley and Laura kind of have this sort of. This is the time that they interact, and only this time, which is interesting. Because Shelley was, with Bobbye, which is just the little underlying stuff that you don't actually see in the commentary.
Yeah,
or not in the movie. Just the shots of the ceiling fan, like she's looking around. All the lights in the house are off because she's there by herself, and she doesn't. The electricity thing. It's like all these little details. She's like checking the ceiling fan to make sure that the lights are off, and just sneaking around the house so that she can check to see if Bob is there. It's really great stuff.
Like David Lynch is both a big picture and small details kind of person, which is kind of rare to find. Like, I know we joked about it earlier, but I mean, Christopher Nolan's probably one of the only other people.
Yeah, I would say Nolan doesn't do it quite as well as Lynch does, but yeah, he's probably in that category.
Which is just perfect.
Well,
in every way.
It's so interesting to take a concept like Twin Peaks, where you didn't know what you were doing week to week, and then take that and create the story here that's going to be overarching throughout the next show that you do.
Oh, I don't know why, but that's so gross to see. Like, just the close up of the tonsils and stuff.
Yeah,
broke my heart. What the scene that's coming up is actually like heartbreaking.
Yes, Josh. This will get. This
is where I realize this movie's next level when it comes to like tugging at the strings.
Oh no.
Well, Shirley, she does such a good job here in this scene that's coming up. It's incredible. She's such an understated actress, especially in these movies, and
you can see why David Lynch loved her so much, because she is fantastic.
Oh my god!
Oh.
Just you start realizing it and thinking the same thing she's thinking in this scene, and it just bothers you to a whole new level.
Yeah, I would be very curious to see somebody who saw this without seeing the series.
Yeah.
See if they can guess. Like, again, spoilers here. See if they can guess why she's crying and stuff.
Right. Well, yeah. Or somebody who maybe just saw season 1 and then skipped season 2 and went straight into this movie. Like, that would be such a reveal. And her delivery of this is just so perfect.
Do you know who was in the original Twin Peaks that you might not know?
Who?
Ted Raimi.
Oh no, I remember. I just saw it. I sent a picture of it to you guys. It was Yeah. I sent a picture. It was that scene where he got like
Yeah, he's like a
duct tape.
background character and stuff.
Yeah, no, he got like duct taped and then killed with a crossbow.
Yes, that was him.
Yeah,
I completely forgot about that.
yeah. I saw that. I saw that initially because there's the scene of him like asking for a beer because I'm forgetting what the context of the scene was.
Yeah,
But then they show him dying.
it's when Cooper's partner is like killing people just for fun.
Yeah.
Man, I love Ray Wise, the Leland Palmer.
Yeah.
He does such a good job of being like
Dude,
like
you don't know
he-
what to expect. Just
Well-
watch this next scene's gonna like. It's the best acted scene from him, I think.
but that's the
It's
thing,
genuinely
he has
terrifying.
he has this like great point between acting like he knows what's going on while also being able to play oblivious to it. Like he looks like a dad while also looking like you know.
Yeah, like, in this movie, there are moments where he kind of goes back and forth, just like in the show, where he kind of sort of realizes what's happening, but then he doesn't, and he just has his sad moments. Like this movie kind of shows. It basically sets up why he's always the crying and dancing in the first season of Twin Peaks.
It's just so like I know nothing's happened, and I know I'm expecting it to, but like it's just so unnerving.
Well, and the way the hands thing here always gets me too, where he's just like feeling of her fingernail and stuff. Like, ugh.
And the shocked look on Laura Palmer's face, just the actress selling it.
Well, and she absolutely sells like how hard he is squeezing her finger too.
Yeah,
but you could tell
and
she
how
doesn't.
uncomfortable she feels.
Oh,
And you could.
yeah.
ugh.
There's like an excitement in his eyes when he says that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I said, Ray Wise. Everyone in this series just gives it their all when it comes to acting.
And even more so in the movie, it's and just the shock, the shock,
pinch.
and the tears in her eyes. It's
This is where like stuff like this is where the movie is so disturbing.
yeah, and it's just
so
these.
understated.
It's so surreal too. Just like it's just everybody's delivery of all this stuff in most horror movies would be over the top or undersold. It's so real. Like,
It's really
It's like you watch this thinking about like The Conjuring or something. It's like when they do that, they'll play it really hard, like he'll yank her arm across the room.
Yeah.
yeah, and then there'll be like emotional music just blaring, but the music in this is so subtle.
yes,
It just adds to the scene perfectly.
and like she would have been screaming and all this kind of stuff, but you just see the tears just rolling down as she's in complete shock. She's speechless. Ugh.
Yeah,
Oh god, it
you
hits
feel
so
so
hard.
bad for the character
Genuinely, yeah. It's
because we know it's like a made-up character, but you can't help but feel like nervous, scared, or bad for the character, and especially Ray Wise's face and how menacing he can be.
well, and it's so
He has that Willem Dafoe thing where his face is so pronounced in a weird way.
I saw a headline where it's like, "Oh yeah, I see my face in movies sometimes," and I just think, "Wow, I'm ugly," which is just amazing.
this is I would argue that this movie is maybe the most suspenseful movie I've seen in a long time.
I'm watching it, and it's just every scene. It's like until now, every scene up to Laura Palmer was fine, and then as soon as she appeared, I think because you know where it all heads.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like every scene with her is just so like, is this going to be the moment?
And now this scene is where you feel so bad for Ray Wise because you see the realization in his eyes.
well, yeah, you can tell Leland. You could tell he either
He's
doesn't know what's
realizing-
going on or you don't know what's happening, and just seeing that facial shift it's so good, and it's a scene that wasn't necessary, and most movies would just drop, but it's so great.
I also I know this is a long done thing, but the grandson of that woman, he's played by David Lynch's grandson in Twin Peaks, and then it's a completely different child in this, which is probably why he has the mask covered.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
And you can tell, looking at his grandson, he looks just like him.
Incredible.
Oh god, the horror in her eyes.
Yeah, and you can tell she doesn't know what to make of it yet. And the hope that you can see like in her face as she realizes, okay, this is
It's like her
actually
actual
my
dad.
dad.
Yeah.
It's great. You see like that little smile on her face there. It's like, okay, things are okay right now. And she's
and the
just
music in the background, just the music is so well done in Twin Peaks, man.
she's so desperate for just like this moment of peace, and she just got one, and it's incredible. I love this movie.
Again, I love Sholay. She's a fantastic actress. Just absolutely brilliant.
I mean, it's stellar and underrated. I mean, I don't know that she's been in anything but Twin Peaks, but she's so good in this.
Mm-hmm.
There it
And
is.
even crying is like the subtle crying.
Yeah, the angels are all gone. They've all left us now.
Right.
It's
Right.
Like, oh yeah, I'd probably think that too if I was.
If my dad was an actual demon.
Oh, I also like that too. How like the door to the paintings kind of getting just slightly
Yes.
more open or
It's-
slightly more closed.
It's also very interesting because it's almost representative of her door to escape.
Yeah.
Like
It's like the window's getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
right, and it's so fascinating because it's almost like the implication is if there was just someone to help her, if there was just anyone to help Laura Palmer, then she would be okay.
It's like that Bobbye line from the funeral.
Right,
Where
exactly.
it's like, if any of you actually paid attention, tried to do something, then none of this would have happened. You would have realized that her dad's literally the devil.
Right. Not the devil, that would be Judy.
I always consider Judy Mother Earth.
Mother
We're
Earth.
not gonna
Interesting.
talk about Judy.
Right, we're not gonna talk about Judy.
I feel like that actress is she's in The Mouth of Madness, I think.
Maybe you could be right. I'm not sure.
I know. It's a niche reference. She's also Happy Gilmore's grandma.
You could also be right there.
Look, it's David Lynch.
Right. David Lynch built a time machine.
Yeah, that's definitely not David Lynch's
No,
grandson.
it doesn't look as much like David Lynch.
No, the one in the series is literally a spitting image.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here we go.
This is the stuff I signed up for.
It's also great because the Black Lodge in this the set looks so much better.
But yeah, they had more money, I assume.
Right.
And expanded.
It looks even better in the return.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they actually had more money.
Right. I would say probably about even amounts of money.
It's just better cameras.
Right. Well, that too.
I am.
It's a shame he didn't come back for the return.
Very much so. Although I'm a big fan of the evolution of the arm.
This makes the return make so much more sense
Yes.
because you don't learn anything.
It's yeah. Well, I would say that the original series is not even necessary watching to watch the return, but this movie is.
Yeah.
I mean, the original series is great, and you should definitely watch it before you watch the return because it will make the return make more sense. But this is absolutely like necessary watching.
Oh, pay attention to the scene.
Yeah.
I like that sort of thing of just how Cooper knew about this, which it's nice setup for the series.
There's another interesting setup that's coming.
I don't know that it's even. I don't even know that it's supposed to be. The implication is that he knew. I think it's more that's him from the future talking to Laura, but especially with the Annie stuff.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
this scene in a prequel movie where, like, the events of season 1 haven't even taken place, and this has happened.
That's what I was saying. It almost feels more like that's Cooper from the future talking to Laura, not Cooper talking to her prior to the start of the series.
That's Cooper in the lodge already. Also, that must be terrifying. Like that. Again, this is such a great thing that's sold by Laura. Also, I love how when she closes her fist, like the music stops. Too.
Yes, Badalamenti knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah, but like I like that implication that like that's Cooper while he's stuck in the lodge.
Right. Yeah. He had 25 years to to think about it, so I guess it makes sense.
I mean, yeah, for the most part, he just sat it sitting down with the arm in the lurch.
Could you imagine the conversations they had?
The arm just kept going.
And then eventually he evolved into a tree. I wonder if that happened.
What bothers me is that the season has like an actual 25-year gap between season 3 and season 2. And people didn't, after the cliffhanger ending of season 2, people didn't have any answers. And this movie gave a little bit of the answer, but created more questions.
Well, that a lot of people, when it came out, a lot of people weren't particularly fans of it because I think a lot of people thought it was gonna answer the questions they had about Twin Peaks.
Well, I think it's a big part that, and another big part is this movie very much played to one half of Twin Peaks audience because not everybody who liked Twin Peaks liked it for the
David Lynch stuff, for the Mark stuff.
Right, they liked it for the characters and just like the small town like atmosphere that was created in the crime drama. A lot of people like Twin Peaks for that reason, and so this movie very much plays to the audience that likes the David Lynch stuff. There he is, Leo Johnson,
the worst man in the world,
the worst man in the entire world.
Literally just hell.
Issues.
It's been so long since season 1 that you kind of forget that Leo was like literally the worst partner ever.
That's why I like this, because you get a little sympathetic towards Leo towards the end of season 2, but then this comes and you're like, oh right, he was the worst person.
He's an evil man.
He's just the worst guy. It's football's empty. I'm looking for Santa Claus. It's very interesting, and I wish they had gone back maybe a little further and shown. I know there's no time in this movie for that. There's my man Jock, but just shown Leo and Shelley how they were before they got married versus after. I think it would have been neat to explore.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. Like, see what made her stay with him in the first place?
Right. What made her marry him? Because she does talk about it a little bit in the show how he didn't act this way before they were married. I love Jacques. I don't actually. I hate this man. But
every time you see him, including in the return, it's just this same shot where it just zooms in until he's done and then he leaves.
Yeah, I like that the actor came back for the return, and I like that it was very confusing for a moment. Which is why they gave us 5 minutes of a man sweeping to figure it out.
Yeah. I can't believe they actually shot the full 5 minutes until the man swept and made a pile.
That's David Lynch for you.
Well, I'm pretty sure David Lynch just hosted a concert and was like, yeah, we can use this.
Yeah. Well, those were some of his music buddies. Because that's the kind of music that he makes.
Well, like, 9 Inch Nails were played at the end of episode 7, I think, and I love 9 Inch Nails to death. And I was like, seeing them turn up in Twin Peaks of all things. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Yeah,
well, I mean, David Lynch is kind of, I wouldn't say responsible for that style of music, but he was
only like a runner, but he led the way.
Yeah, he kind of paved the path for that kind of style of music, and so a lot of these people grew up with him as their inspiration, and so to be in the return was just really neat, I would say.
Was James their inspiration as well?
Yes. James is... Have you gotten to the part in the return where James does his song?
No, there has been only one scene with James, where he's in the bar and they say James is cool. James has always been
He's
cool.
being cool.
Well, James
Yeah.
performs his song at the Roadhouse.
Oh no! Does he have the same voice?
Yes.
Oh my god! I
It's
am
great.
excited.
It's great.
Because when it happened in the first season of Twin Peaks, I was confused as to whether Laura's cousin was singing it, Donna was singing it, but it was James.
It was James.
It was James. It was the Chad, the absolute Chad.
He's always cool.
You didn't know that James played all 3 of the chipmunks in Alvin and the Chipmunks?
Nice.
I've never understood that line either. If I had a nickel for every cigarette your mom smoked, I'd be dead. Did the nickels kill you?
I think maybe it's the secondhand smoke.
Maybe, but I don't.
I also like that she says that while while Laura's smoking.
Well, it's also kind of a neat setup for the show too, I guess, because she does start smoking in the show, and James makes a big deal about it because he's so cool. He's so cool. He's avidly against smoking. I love the Roadhouse sign. Little details you can't talk about in just like the normal podcast, but just the sign of the Roadhouse where it's just like bang bang.
That's the bang bang.
Right.
Oh, that is the Roadhouse. Yes, I forgot about that.
There she is.
The log lady.
The log lady.
It wouldn't be Twin Peaks without the log lady.
This is the inspiration for playing 2x4 in Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Right.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
I would not at all be surprised.
But like that sounds very. It sounds very plausible. In fact, I'm just Jamie. Look.
I hope it is. I hope it is. Please look it up.
Jamie's just gonna look up.
The log lady is the thing from Twin Peaks. Like I'll use the comparison of the Daleks from Doctor Who, where people know what they are despite the fact that they haven't seen the show. The log lady is that for Twin Peaks. That and the red curtains in the Black Lodge. Those are the 2 things that from this series, even people who haven't seen it know about. You know about the log lady, and you know about the red room.
So no, I don't think there's any official confirmation, but someone said, "I believe that the log lady is the mother of Johnny and Plank." From
So that just adds Ed, Ed, and Eddie to our list. I would also add Courage the Cowardly Dog takes place in the Twin Peaks universe.
Yes, most definitely.
Just out of curiosity, Josh, while Jamie's pulling things up, is the woman who sings this song the same? Is it the woman from the Radiator from Eraserhead?
That is very good.
Because it
question.
looks like her. The face looks like her.
Do we know what her name is?
No.
I love this song.
I can see like the facial similarity.
It's the eyes.
Yeah, she's got very big eyes. I tell you what, I've got. Give Jamie a few minutes.
give Jamie a 2 few.
Right. We're coming up on the Pink Room, which I'm not looking forward to editing, but
That's one of the reasons I find this movie also disturbing is because they recast Donna and they got someone who looks younger, and the scenes aren't
that's
very
the thing.
PG.
That's the genuine thing that you have to keep in mind throughout this show or throughout this movie is that Laura Palmer is in high school. Like, because she looks older. Cheryl Lee looks older here, but she's a girl. Like she's in high school. And so if you don't keep that in mind, you lose a lot of perspective on the movie.
Exactly.
It makes everything a bit more shocking. Like the fact that there's this, it's high school girl. I think they're 15, 16.
That's why I do think recasting Donna was a bit of a benefit.
Yeah. But it just didn't make it any easier to watch.
Well, no, absolutely. I don't think that was ever David Lynch's intention.
David Lynch does not care about how easy something is for you to watch.
He does say
Eraserhead is a good example.
He does care if you watch it on an iPhone. He's very adamantly against you watching his movies on an iPhone.
Nice.
That
scene was so well done with the music and her just crying.
Okay, so Dom, she isn't the woman in the Radiator. However, she is in the original Twin Peaks. She's in The Return, and she did some music department stuff for Psych.
Yeah, she's in the singer from this scene is in season 2 when Coop has that big revelation and the giant shows up on stage. It's her singing at that point.
Interesting.
It is, isn't it? I forgot
Yeah,
about
it's her. It's her.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know because when I watched season 2, I really liked how eerie her voice and song was, and they brought it back for Fire Walk with Me, and that made me happy.
Out of curiosity, is she in the Twin Peaks episode of Psych?
that. No, she wasn't in the episode. She was just
Twin
she was
Peaks
in the
episode, right?
she was in the music department.
Got it.
But there's a chance. I wouldn't be surprised if she helped with the music for the episode.
Interesting. Okay.
Also, yes, there's a Twin Peaks episode of Psych. Ray Rice is in it. He plays like someone who knew Sean from when he was younger, and they make a joke about how his hair turned white while I haven't seen him in like 30 years.
Right.
Wow, I need to watch that episode.
And then it ends with them in the R&R, and it's just everyone, like it's parodies of everyone from the show, and they're all just doing the weird dance.
Nice.
I also
great.
she doesn't sell it quite as well as Cheryl Lee sells her scenes, but Donna, she just the realization on her face of what's going on and the tears rolling down when she sees what's going on with Laura. It's like, this is my
and
childhood
doesn't-
friend who's now a
and she
hooker.
doesn't abandon her.
Right.
Also, it's an awful thing, but like seeing, and again, I think that's what you say. It's like the corruption of Twin Peaks through Bob.
Right.
It's like it starts with Donna, who's now started drinking alcohol to
Yeah.
prove to this. But I like that Laura's still trying to stand up for her and be like, no, she's not part of the deal or anything.
Well, Laura can't stand up for herself, despite
Like, she can stand up
trying.
for everyone else.
Man, that dude has such a thick tongue. It stresses me out
Dude
every.
just went tongue in.
Ugh.
He looks like Hugh Jackman.
He does look like Hugh Jackman. He looks like Hugh Jackman's doppelganger from The Prestige with the prosthetic nose.
Yes. And the like goofy teeth.
Uh huh. Ugh.
There is a scene where Laura Palmer stands up for Donna, and
Yeah, no, it's you can tell that she doesn't want Donna to fall
Become
into
up-
this
yeah.
into the same trap that she fell into.
yeah. But Donna's such a good friend that she just does anyway.
We can admit that these guys are scumbags, right? Oh, the music here. I forgot about the music. The Pink Room, the thing about it is the music is so loud that you just can't hear the dialogue. It's such
That's
great
yeah.
sound mixing.
That's the most David Lynch thing I've ever heard.
And it's intentional. It's not like Tenet where you don't know what's happening. They put subtitles on it because it's so gets under your skin. I had to look away from the movie.
Yeah, I gotta keep up with my Muslim beliefs, man.
Haram.
Haram, it's all haram, man. It's not kosher at all. All of this is not kosher.
I love how it's like you say, the sound mixing is so good. It's like just loud enough that you can tell they're saying stuff. but you
Yeah,
can't hear it.
and also the blaring music adds to the uncomfortableness of the
Yes.
scene.
yeah. I think
Because
it
after a while, it
helps
just
to, like,
starts hurting. Oh, God.
it kind of helps to like the detachment of it too. Like you feel like you're detached from everything else, just like Laura feels like she's detached.
Yeah.
Right. It's almost like you're high with Laura, who's stoned on cocaine. It's like you can't focus on what's actually happening.
Yeah. Everything's just a blur.
Right. The strobes also just like David Lynch uses strobes so well in both this and The Return.
Mm-hmm.
I love the music.
It is good. I'm as blank as a fart. Me, me too, Jacques. Me too, man.
I'm always blank as a fart.
Wow,
Why does
Jock
that look like a
literally me.
budget Shaggy?
I love how sleazy it is.
It's interesting to see Laura go back and forth from wanting to protect Donna and like egging her on. Like it's so interesting to see. There's the roofie.
God, there's so many in there. I can tell you from experience, you only want one.
Oh my god.
For legal reasons, I've never roofed anyone. I don't even go to bars. I don't even drink.
Josh is just as halal as me. We've never had alcohol.
Josh has just been
Girls won't
roofied.
talk to me, so I can't buy them alcohol. It's fine.
Nor roofie them.
Nor roofie them, nor can I afford alcohol.
You just roofied yourself to see what it felt like.
I forget me now.
Right. Oh. Dum 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 dum.
This entire scene just gets under my skin.
Yeah, it's
is
really hard to watch.
It's so like grimy.
This is part of the reason I knew that this would be a horrible commentary.
Yeah,
We'd have to us three men sitting here watching this movie.
yeah, it's not, and it doesn't get any better. So this is bad. It gets worse. So
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it.
I can't yeah.
So I'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I think something just came up. I'll be back in. When does the scene end?
Yeah, it ends. I'm just gonna look at some religious texts on my phone just to
Yeah, I
keep
need
close.
to.
I'll be
need to
back in 55 minutes and 22 seconds when the movie's over.
What? It's only been an hour? Yeah, it has. Jeez.
It's a very well paced movie, which pacing is something that I'm super sensitive to in movies, just because my attention span is so short. For all of the long dragging scenes that happen in this movie, it is super well paced. I need you guys to talk here. I don't know what else to say.
I'm reading some religious texts.
No,
right
that
now.
makes sense.
I have to stay close to God.
Right.
I'm looking at photos of puppies currently, and not these kind of puppies.
And that's her.
There she is, Ronette Pulaski.
Yep.
It's nice to see her show up.
Yeah.
Where she's not
good.
drugged.
Yeah.
and,
It's not good for her. Like, it's not good to see her show up in a scene like this. Because I'm not looking at the scene. I'm looking away because I'm a good boy.
I'm really loving the music though. Like,
No,
I know
it's great.
It's so like I'm a huge fan of this kind of music. I really like Arctic. It reminds me a lot of Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah.
And it's very bassy, acoustic.
And it fits the scene really well, too.
It's very sleazy.
Very much so.
Every guy in here just gives me the creeps.
Guys are assholes. Men are assholes. Like,
Yeah, especially when these are like grown men preying on 16-year-olds.
yeah.
Like that's something that I think is kind of hard to forget.
It's hard to forget because it still happens.
But yeah, it
Right.
still happens. And also you're looking at Laura Palmer, who being played by something like 23 or 25-year-old Jolie. So like subconsciously she's over 18.
Yeah, and it's
she's also naked, so she's over 18.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, but then you cut back to the actress who plays Donna, who I'm pretty sure is 18 at the time, but it's still like she looks younger.
Yeah, and it's like a flashback to these are
Right.
you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, because in the scene that comes up, you see Laura Palmer like horrified, and we'll feel just as horrified of what happened.
Yeah.
And,
Oh.
and it didn't help that they got an actress that looks way younger than
Yeah.
original Donna.
I would assume that was intentional. Lynch had to.
For artistic reasons, it makes sense. Just, it's very hard to see. And I can't emphasize that enough.
Right.
It's also just it's very hard to watch through.
Very much so.
You're watching someone's life actively go downhill.
It's also much worse to sit and watch with two men. I will note that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just
I-
gonna Google, like, they should make some down bad memes with Laura Palmer.
Right.
there's certain movies where it's kind of hard to do a commentary over parts of them.
Yes.
Scenes like this, for instance, or scenes like the one in the room.
Right.
Like yeah, the movies are really good to watch and talk about.
Yeah.
Or like that Scream.
Yeah.
This is where it happens, where she's like, okay, no. She's horrified at what's happening.
It
and
hits her.
So are we.
It hits her what's going on, and it's like, it's almost like it
like snaps her out of it back to reality.
Right, exactly.
No.
Yeah, it's
and the no vocals in this just makes it even better.
Yeah, because you're not really sure what she's saying.
And also just like, I don't know why, but it's more realistic.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, again, you think about a movie like Spring Break, even, or The Conjuring, stuff that's about this sort of horrifying thing, and they hit you with this really dramatic music, and it's all it's too cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
This is very realized.
Yeah,
for something that's so surreal, it's also so real.
Yeah, in a place like you'd imagine, in a place where something this illegal is happening, they're gonna play music that's just constantly blaring, and it's like the same beat over and over again, so they don't have to pay attention to the music. It just covers everything that's happening inside.
Right. Ugh. So that was the Pink Room.
Thank God that is over.
Yes.
I won't lie.
Yeah. And Donna doesn't remember any of it, which is
Equally as horrible.
Whenever Bob kind of takes over people, it's kind of a theme where they don't remember. We see that with Leland. He doesn't really remember what has happened, and so her not remembering that is an interesting nod towards that.
I like how Laura always looks like she's just about to crack.
Yeah,
like she always looks like she's on the edge of just going mad and killing everybody.
Yeah.
But then, she does this, like, again, Shirley, fantastic actress. She does this thing of being able to pull it back to being like, no, I do care about you. I just also...
She's so perfect in this role.
You could never cast anyone else as Laura Palmer.
No, you couldn't. If they... I would even go as far as to say you could recast Special Agent Dale Cooper. And we'll talk about it. Why not?
I don't think so. I'm new to Dale Cooper, and I love him very much.
Well, hear me out. Hear me out, Aitesam. Me and Josh have already talked about this. Matt Smith as Special Agent Dale Cooper.
Okay, yes, 100%.
Okay,
I'm
right.
down.
See,
you had to say the right actor's name. I love Matt Smith.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, you could do that, but Cheryl Lee as Laura Palmer's, you just can't. You can't do that.
Yeah, you cannot. You cannot.
She's this scene. I forgot about this scene. It's just more. That's why I'm so glad that this movie got made. It was supposed to be part of a trilogy, which I would assume the first one would be a prequel, and then you had Twin Peaks, and then maybe 2 other movies. But David Lynch has said.
Well, I can tell you about that part. So this was going to be a prequel. Then the next film was going to be like a proper sequel and resolve the cliffhanger and focus on the Black Lodge and doppelgangers. There's actually a plot to it, and it was like Garland was going to go into the Black Lodge to get Cooper to look for him, and then more doppelgangers would have showed up in the town. Jeffries was going to have opened a second portal that was like somewhere in Argentina. We would have found out who Judy was. In like when they mentioned Judy in this movie, they didn't think it was going to be the weird person who vomits up all of the evil in the world. It's actually just Josie's sister.
Oh, got it.
But that was going to be the second movie, and then no one knows what the third movie was going to be, except maybe David Lynch, although I'm convinced that he probably didn't know either.
I think a lot of those ideas got carried over into The Return.
Yeah.
There's her boy, the one-armed man. This scene is also just so suspenseful.
And intense.
Yes.
Hey man, I'd be just as angry if someone stole my corn.
Right.
Well, again, it plays down to all the actors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the one-armed man here is so good at being this angry. You feel like he's about to kill them both. Leland looks so stressed.
Yeah, and it's the one character I think that had the best consistency from season 1 to Fire Walk with Me and The Return. He looks the same.
Yeah, he never changed.
And there's so much going on at once. There's just so much. It's like a Sadie Brothers movie. Like it's just everything is happening at once, and people are talking and screaming over each other, and it's
the engine revving and all.
Yeah,
that.
it's hard to focus on one particular thing, and it's just uneasy feeling.
Yeah, uneasy is the best word.
That's the best word to describe this movie is uneasy.
Yeah.
Again, Ray Wise, such a great actor, just that dead stare.
Ray Wise is such a... I'd say like he looks like a great Norman Osborn, probably just because he looks like Willem Dafoe in a way.
I'd argue he's a little old for that at the moment, but
yeah.
Hey, just CGI him.
Right.
I also like how, again, everyone in Twin Peaks is just a horrible, horrible person.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Ray Wise was also in How I Met Your Mother, by the way.
Was he?
He was.
I need to watch How I Met Your Mother again, because I used to watch it weekly on TV, and I was a kid back then.
I can't remember who he plays. Oh, he plays Robin Scherbatsky's dad.
Oh, no. Oh.
Ugh. It's...
Jeez. It's, again, some parts of this are so hard to do a commentary over.
Yeah, man. It's because, well, also you get sucked in, too, and you actually want to watch the movie.
For a second there, I was just because, like, I was so focused on that. But yeah, it's just this movie's depressing so far. It
doesn't get better.
Anxiety driving.
That's the biggest thing for me. Is this movie is just so suspenseful and anxiety inducing. It's genuinely hard to watch, and it's great. That should be stated. It's a great movie.
Oh yeah, it's phenomenal. Also, that scene of just like actual Leland finding out that his daughter's prostituting herself out.
Mm-hmm.
Just
well, we're never really sure when Bob and Leland kind of take over. So it's sort of implied that it happened when he was a kid. So it's like he's always had that influence pushing against him.
Mm. Well, I imagine that he went through something similar to what Laura Palmer's going through.
Exactly.
He just goes to be like, yeah, fine, take my body, you don't take my life.
Right,
but
exactly.
Laura was the alternative.
Exactly.
And it's like, is this better than death, really?
Right, exactly.
Which is a great question.
I would argue no.
Yeah, I think most people would say, no, this is just awful. It's depressing and disgusting.
There is
you couldn't release this today, I don't think.
Probably not. I would argue no. Not Matt. You could maybe do like a
You could do a Twin Peaks inspired thing, sure, but you couldn't release this.
You could do something along the lines of you could release this independently. That's the only way you could get this released. And I mean, that's what David Lynch had to do. But you couldn't make this based off of a primetime TV show. You just couldn't.
No.
One of the things I find interesting about it is it's not like a cult movie where people hated it when it came out, but now people have come to appreciate and love it. No, people still hate this movie. The majority of people still don't like Fire Walk with Me. It's not like it's super...
It's not like a cult movie or something where everyone loves it now, but they hate it when it came out.
Right, exactly. I mean, people still don't like this movie. I really like it because I think it's... because I think the point of it seems to be what it's accomplishing, which is always a good sign in a movie, and doesn't always happen. But it, as a fan of Twin Peaks, I can see why people who like Twin Peaks wouldn't like this movie. Even as a fan of The Return, I could see why people who like Twin Peaks or people who like The Return wouldn't like this movie. I mean, it's just so different.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like this movie. I mean, I do, but I also don't.
Well, like you said about Twin Peaks has always been sort of the love child of Mark Frost and David Lynch. And when you take away Mark Frost, this is what you get. And it's a lot more horrifying.
Because David Lynch.
But not all of David Lynch's stuff is horror and frightening and that kind of thing. A lot of David Lynch's stuff is fairly tame, but this movie, he knew what story he wanted to tell. He knew he wanted Laura to show what Laura went through, to make the events of the series more impactful. And it definitely does that. It casts a shadow over the entire series when you know that this is what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes everything a bit more just horrifying again.
It was one of my complaints with season 1 was, so they showed Laura Palmer dying in the beginning, and then her cousin comes in, and those events are sort of recreated with her as well. But I wanted to have Laura's character be more fleshed out, and this movie did that.
Right, exactly.
That's brutal.
It's always nice to see more of Cheryl Lee.
So this is him. That was him murdering Teresa, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. This
movie is a little easier to follow, I would argue, than you would expect.
Well, we talked about how David Lynch. Yeah, we say how David Lynch doesn't really tell you anything. Yeah. And it's like in the series, they would have shown that scene just completely out of the blue with zero context, like nothing.
Right. Exactly.
And then not mention it again ever. They wouldn't have set up that Teresa's already dead, and that was Teresa. They would have just shown you that and left it. It was like you kind of have to make that up to yourself.
I love the idea of Bobbye with a cigarette behind his ear, just walking down the hallways of his school.
I know kids like that. My school was awful.
I was a kid like that.
Bad item.
They don't allow that over here. No, they did in the 90s.
Well, like my school, when we went to prom, we took coaches to this place, and our teachers, when we arrived, they were like, if you need to go outside to have a cigarette or you want to smoke some weed, go around the back. There'll be a teacher there.
You want to do some cocaine in the bathroom while Minecraft music plays.
Oh, Tenet. Look at the reverse smoke. That's Tenet.
Oh, here it is. Here's the scene. It's not it's not the scene with the delivery, but it's the scene.
It's the scene.
It's the scene.
The scene.
There's a really interesting thing that I won't spoil for either of you because you haven't seen this part of The Return. But Josh, I've already told you about it. That is essentially just some scenes recut from this movie. And
so that's that scene.
It's not that scene, not yet. But we'll get there soonish. But it's great how they handle that in The Return.
I like that shot where it's just pitch black and occasionally the light shines.
Yeah,
and you could just see,
even though the light's not moving.
Yeah, even though that's not them moving the light.
Right. They're double dipping.
Double dip.
Cocaine and liquor.
And cigarettes.
Right.
16-year-olds, man.
Right. How old are they supposed to be in this? Because I would argue they're probably 18.
What's supposed to be?
She was the prom queen, so that would be senior year of high school. So probably 18.
She was 17.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, that works out. It adds up. Yeah. I buy it.
I like the music too. Again, we speak a lot about the music, and Angelo Badalamenti he always works, I think, on David Lynch's stuff. If not,
I think so.
Frequent collaborator. It's
sort of like Dan Elfman and Tim Burton, how they just they just work for each other.
Or Christopher Nolan and Hans Zimmer. It's just kind of, you go hand in hand almost.
Steven Spielberg and John Williams. I mean, there are all kinds of examples just like that.
Yeah.
I like that this guy looks just like the sheriff from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
I've been trying to think about it. I thought it was Big Ed for a second.
No. I don't know that Big Ed
Okay.
appears in this movie. I can't remember actually.
Probably not. But I'd love it. I love Big Ed.
Yeah, I think it is it the same actor?
No, it's not the same actor. He just
Looks-
has the same '90s mustache.
Yeah, everyone had that mustache in the 90s, and it's terrible.
I want it to come back.
I want all of the '90s stuff to come back. There it is.
There it is. Bobby killed a guy.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what. That's what I was saying.
That's that just reminds me of me and Josh playing Call of Duty.
Man,
Gunfight.
and it's such a realistic effect too. It's way too realistic.
It's way too real.
Also, we say props to Cheryl Lee for bringing Laura Palmer to life, and subsequently to death. But Dana Ashbrook, the guy who plays Bobbye, he's phenomenal too.
Yes. Oh, he's great.
He's just as good as going from that sort of like, I hate the world, man. I don't need any of you, to breaking down in tears.
Right, and asking for help. Yeah. Well, this is one of the things why it makes his it makes his
Jesus,
his sort of,
that's
genuinely horrifying. It makes his redemption in the return.
that's terrifying too. Can you imagine that? Like you accidentally, well, I say accidentally, you kill someone, and then your girlfriend just starts laughing with you.
Yeah, it'd be. Ugh.
I'd prefer that, just so it makes things easier.
Yikes. So yeah, I like that too. How there's like parts where Bob takes over Laura, like influences her personality at least.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't Mike. Wait, is this Mike?
Yeah. It reminds me of the bunny scene from The Return. It's not about the bunny. Cheryl Lee again in this scene, just great delivery. She could have went whatever direction she wanted with this. But
Yeah, I like how it's just like disassociated. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you killed Mike.
she's completely desensitized to what's going on because of the evil that lives inside of her.
Like, she finds it funny.
She needs Bobby needs a golden shovel.
Bobby does need a goal.
This is another one of those things that's just hard to talk over and talk about because it's like,
What do you do in that
right?
situation?
Yeah, I mean, what would you do?
Well, first off, like I know you wouldn't kill the guy, but
Well, but I mean, he did pull a gun on him.
yeah,
He put in 3 shots, like one in the rib, one in the back, and then headshot.
the headshot's the worst part. Like the
Yeah.
brain squeezing out of the.
Yeah, the pop effect, and then
Here he is, the coolest man in the world.
You can see his hairline going back.
This is the scene where it's really bad, where his hair is just his forehead is just so big,
Oh.
man.
Yeah, you see his hair thinning at this point.
Yikes! We love you, James.
No, we don't. You're
Oh.
so cool.
He's the coolest man.
Bobby's cooler than James.
He's always been cool.
He's so cool. Look at him. He's always been cool. Do you think David Lynch threw that line in there just to spite
Just to
people
make
who
it good?
don't like James?
Do you think he knows?
He has to
would
know.
Took it like, I took it as like he knows, and he was just doing that for fun.
Yeah, he had to have. How do you not know? What a loser. I hate James. Every line that comes out of his mouth, I'm just like, James.
James is a simp.
Absolutely he is.
original simp.
I don't know that I'd say the original. He's just one in a long, long line.
Who would you say is the original simp?
Oh, I mean Jesus.
You'd have to go back.
No, Jesus was a Chad.
Who are the two people who fought over Cleopatra?
Oh, Mark Antony.
Yeah, there you go. Fought that huge war over.
No, you're thinking of Troy, aren't you?
Yes, that's right.
No, that wasn't Cleopatra. That was someone else. It was Eric Bana and Brad Pitt.
Right, exactly.
Brad Pitt's the original simp.
I've never seen cocaine snorting in such high detail.
Right. It's so great looking. Glass of milk.
Oh, I forgot about this scene.
Ray Weiss with his glass of milk.
Glass of milk.
Some people think that the Bob stuff is symbolism for the drug use, which could be the case.
I was just taking it as like the evil inside people.
Yeah, that's how I take it. But I could see the argument that it is the drug use that that is the symbolism there. But like I said, I see it definitely as evil and how evil affects other people, and on top of that, how it can impact those around you when you let it kind of keep going and growing.
I like the book of just how to speak German.
Right. What have she ever learned?
And that's like a horrifying realization too. That like the fan symbolizes what I'm assuming he's about to do.
Yeah, I think it's the fan is there to cover up the noise. And he drugged his own wife. I mean, it's
very well thought out.
Her Patronus charm.
Right.
I love that scene in the original too, where the wife just appears and disappears, and there's no explanation
ever.
And David Lynch is like, "Yeah, you can make fun of that. You can make sense of that.
We'll put it back.
My name's Oh,
we'll do it again.
You want to see me do it again?
I'm gonna put a white horse in this scene.
David, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Do it again.
This actor has also passed away as well, right? The actor who plays Bob.
He passed away like in the 90s. Frank Silver.
I'm glad they got to make this so that he could come back, even though his screen time is limited for optimal, horrifying impact.
But again, I think I'll be back in.
Yeah.
I'll be back in.
Yeah, I'm gonna remember. My God.
I'll see you again in 29 minutes.
I mean, admittedly, you do have to give props to him for being so great at being so horrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of great villains that you hate, but you love to hate. I'm thinking of like Schindler's List, where Ray Fiennes.
I just absolutely hate Bob.
Adolf Hitler. You love to hate Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, I love to hate Adolf Hitler.
Exactly. But yeah, it's so.
It's just the weight of the scene, because you know what's happening.
Yeah, but it's so hard to watch.
Yeah, it's just horrifying. And like again, David Lynch is a very controversial filmmaker.
Absolutely.
Specifically for scenes like this.
Right. Well,
which I think you can understand.
He's up there with, and then they didn't take it so far as to just like, in the back of your head. No. They wanted to make sure that so they show you. And it's, once again, Cheryl Lee's scream there, just the cut to black. And then you see her reaction in the very next scene, like, just how it sticks with her.
And then Leland's completely fine.
Right, because he doesn't remember it, maybe?
Like I've always taken that as an implication, like he thinks in the back of the mind they're like a bad dream.
Right, exactly.
Like a normal person, you wouldn't rationalize that you're secretly raping your daughter under the possession of a demon.
Right. Well, some people wouldn't.
Under the possession of a demon.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
And then just seeing how she just can't stomach to be around him anymore.
Yeah.
It's, ugh.
Well, yeah, it's like what Bobbye said, we all killed her.
Right, exactly. Everybody pushed her away.
Yeah, that line. Even the mother knew sort of what was happening, but she just kept talking.
It does make me wonder if Mark Frost was somewhat responsible for the more confusing aspects of the actual series, considering how easy this is to follow through on.
Well, I think the majority of the confusing things from this movie are in the missing pieces.
Right, yeah.
It's not like David Lynch's stuff is the easiest to follow normally.
Right, I mean, I've seen Inland Empire.
Right.
And Lost Highway, and I don't understand those still, and I've seen them at least once.
Right.
But yeah, that little head tilt.
Yeah,
To just realize it.
it gets to you. It really does. It really gets you.
I love David Lynch, and I think David Lynch is a wonderful filmmaker, but I think this movie so far has been carried by the actors.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. But I think a big part of that does go to his direction to the actors. I'd say that's a big thing.
Oh, no, absolutely.
And the story here, I can't remember who the writer of this was, the co-writer. Because he did have help. I'm not sure how much help, but
It was Robert Engels.
this is one of the very few times we see the high school throughout all of Twin Peaks. And
You see
there's
it
James
when
sitting in front of that colorful wall.
Yeah.
Or the famous...
The show is about high school students, but you barely see the high school.
I mean, I'd say part of the show is about high school students, but realistically, it's about the other characters, I think. Here's another man. Oh, it's Bobbye.
Another man.
It's another man.
Should have been the only man, because Bobby's a Chad.
I mean, kinda. He was cheating on Laura, so...
Yeah, but everyone's
Yeah,
a bad person.
cheating on him, and everyone is just a god awful person.
Literally everyone in this series cheats on whoever they're with. Leland cheats on his wife. Big Ed cheats on Nadine. Norma cheats on Hank. Donna cheats on Bob, or on James. James cheats on her. Let's see. Let's keep going down this rabbit hole.
Hank doesn't cheat.
Shelley cheats on Leo. Catherine probably cheated on Pete.
Yeah,
She did. She did with
with Ben.
Oh yeah, with Ben.
Ben Horn.
Josie cheated on Ben.
Bobby cheats on Laura. As well as Shelley.
With Horn's daughter.
Right? Audrey.
See, the only person who doesn't cheat is Gordon Cole. And that's why he's the best.
Well, you say that, but Gordon Cole tried to get with Shelley while she was with Bobby. So,
but Gordon Cole deserves it. He can't hear. And when he can hear, he deserves it.
Oh,
you don't understand.
Josie.
I've needed these for 25 years.
Josie cheats on Truman.
Yeah,
You could just keep on going
Truman
down this
doesn't
rabbit
cheat
hole.
on anybody.
No,
Truman-
no.
Lucy cheats on
Andy.
what's his name? Andy, yeah. Pierce Brosnan.
Andy just can't find another woman.
Well, he has to talk about his sperm.
I was going to tell you about my sperms.
I'm really disappointed they didn't bring back Pierce Brosnan for the return.
I'm not. I didn't want to see any more of Tremaine.
No, we need to find out what happened to that adopted kid who was trying to kill him.
Yeah. His smiles were so full of expression. Like, he did a smile while doing a frown at the same time, and I never understood how it happened.
This is me whenever I have to make plans, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
I'll see you guys in
25
tomorrow.
years.
Yeah, I'll see you guys. I'll see you
25.
guys tomorrow, and then I just hang up. I'm like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
I don't want to go out tomorrow.
Right. Once again,
Angels.
long stretches of stuff. That's kind of the hallmark of Lynch's work.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so subtle.
That's something that no one can ever credit David Lynch with as being subtle.
He's never subtle. It's just confusing about what he's actually alluding to.
Right. He knows what he means.
I don't know if he does. I'm convinced that there's at least parts where David Lynch just does stuff, and he's like, people will make their own meaning.
You gotta.
He's so cool with his huge forehead.
There's a movie screen in your brain, and you've got to tap into it to access your creativity to put it on the screen in real life.
But don't put it on the screen of an iPhone.
That was a reaction gif if I've ever seen one.
Yes.
I think it's the fake slow-mo that gets me.
Yeah.
That's my favorite hallmark of like the 90s is where they didn't know how to actually slow-mo things.
Post-production slow-mo.
Yeah, they just took out frames and slowed it.
Well, if you don't shoot for
In
slow
slow
motion, which
You can't do slow motion.
you shoot for slow motion at for film, you shoot at 60 frames per second or something similar, a higher frame rate, so that when you slow it down, you can cut it at 24. Because film is still done at 24 frames per second. Because anything else looks weird. So if you slow down something that's shot at 24 frames a second to any slower than that, the frame rate drops.
It'll be choppy.
Right. That's what causes that.
Okay, there is one bad actor in Twin Peaks.
He's so cool, man.
James is the most pointless character. I really hope they do something with him in The Return. I don't care for this character.
What if I told you that James is in the finale of The Return?
Oh,
The huge final battle of The Return. James is there. Would you believe me?
I would, because I don't know. James is just shoved into everything when it comes to Twin Peaks, and he has no you can remove James, and I don't think it'll change much, except for the song.
I mean, do you want to give it the best song in all of Twin Peaks?
Yeah.
Are you going to sing it?
I'm not going to sing it. I'm waiting for you two to sing it.
I'm not singing.
Okay,
it.
that's how we'll end out this commentary track. It will be all of us just singing.
Incredible.
I don't even know how that song goes.
I wonder what the copyright legality of the song is.
Item, there's literally 4 words to it, and one of them is a letter.
Hey man, they were. I don't know, man. They were very feminine.
There's 3 words and a letter.
This is the scene that they recut for The Return, and it's great how they do it. It's seamless. Bobbye killed a guy.
She does this great thing with her. I think with her eyes, which is just like she makes it so she doesn't need to focus on anything.
Yeah, and her pupils are so big.
Yeah,
Bobbye killed a guy.
It's the Charlie Cox, Matt Murdock thing.
Yeah, it's like acting blind, which is a great tactic. Hey, my actual boyfriend killed a guy. Let's go see. And it's like there, you can see her sort of snapping back.
Yeah.
Could you imagine being James though?
You thought you were just hooking up with this girl, and then she's like, "Hey, let me show you a dead body."
There's so much emotional baggage, and he still doesn't turn away.
Just you and I
That was
together forever in love. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
so bad.
It's the best thing. He's so cool.
He's so cool.
He's never been cool.
I love that line too. Your Laura disappeared. Like that's
Yeah. And then the music, the classic.
the Twin
Laura
Peaks music.
Palmer theme.
Well, this is like giving up for like the last moment, like the
Yeah.
last time anyone saw her.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is the last time anyone saw her.
Yeah. Because James was the last person to see her before she died, and it's like we're just building up to her death.
Every time it closes off on James's face, he always looks so constipated.
It's great that they made sure to cut the frame in his forehead.
She's pointing at it. James, what's happening up here, man?
He's so smart. He's got so much brain to think with.
He's the first big brain moment.
It's interesting because
they start playing the Twin Peaks theme constantly, and it's just such a great connecting factor between season 1 and this prequel movie.
Cheryl Lee in that scene just a minute ago, she
Yeah.
looked like Ray Weiss. Like it was just how they managed to do like just the framing of her face and the lighting and stuff.
Yeah.
It was great.
It's so sad. It gets so sad now.
The confliction is what Cheryl Lee does so well. Like between like this good and this bad, and she wants to protect people, but she doesn't know how. It's great. She wants to protect herself, but she wants to protect other people over protecting herself.
Yeah.
The screaming of "I love you," because she wants to be with him.
This scene was funny because James just keeps his feet on the ground while just drifting off.
Just you.
And it's so uncool because he revs into like speed, like accelerates, but his legs are still on the ground.
Reminds me of that scene from Smallville where Clark gets red kryptonite for the first time and starts riding a motorcycle, but it's always clearly just a stunt double.
Oh man, no.
It's fine. You just keep talking about Smallville. It's fine. We don't.
Just laugh it up. Nothing. There's no fun after
Do you
this.
think?
There's
Do you
no
think?
fun.
Can you
Clark
imagine?
is so cool.
Yeah, so Smallville is the best Superman property, and I hope the Superman and Lois show does that for Superman.
Clark has always been cool.
Clark is so cool. Clark has always been cool.
Can you imagine if James was just like, okay, I need to distract myself. I'm going to turn on the radio. Just you.
No, that's an original song he wrote.
Yeah, and he's playing it on the radio.
Oh, okay, got it. And he turns on the radio and it says, "This is the water, and this is the well."
Those
Gotta like.
those 11 people who follow him on Facebook want to hear his songs. Oh. Jacques is such a sleazy character.
Yeah. Ugh.
Like, is there ever been a worse sort of vibe given off by someone than Jacques?
And I'm sure he's like the nicest dude ever.
Yeah, it's just.
Oh yeah, they always are, aren't they? It's always like every time you see a behind the scenes photo of Bob, it's like him and Laura, and they're just really buddy.
Yeah.
Just like, hey.
Oh, it's the bird. I forgot about the bird. Where Jacques like, he pecked her shoulder. Ugh.
Wasn't Jacques killed in the original series?
Yes.
Yeah, and then he comes back for the return somehow.
Are you kidding me? You don't remember? No, he doesn't come back for the return. It's his brother. You don't remember?
Right, his twin brother.
Andy got him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I was confused.
Andy shot a guy. Andy shot a guy.
Leo acts just like he does in season 2.
Yeah.
Wait, no. So Andy shoots him, then he's in the hospital, and then Leland kills him, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Leland smuggles him.
Which is like, that's a nice parallel.
Right.
Yeah.
Leo's just the worst.
That's his catchphrase. Shut
Such
up.
a
It's great.
That must be a horrifying feeling too, to like be coming out of a drugged up state to realize that you're like bound in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and then your dad comes to rescue you.
Your dad comes. Oh.
Ugh, her scream.
Again, the scream back too.
Yeah.
It's the one-armed man.
There's our boy Mike. Coming to the rescue.
So Mike's like an angel, right? That's how I've always taken it. Not like an angel, but like a better demon.
I think he's got good and evil in him.
I love the subtle like nod there with Leland's eyes being bright blue.
Yes.
Oh. I've never been more tense in a movie.
Yeah,
I would have made a quiet place. A Quiet Place was such a.
Hey, just be glad you're watching this with 2 other people and not alone.
No, it's much worse alone.
I'm actually quite. See, I don't like that I'm doing this with 2 other people because I don't quite like watching people be abused with my friends.
And we have to make jokes or change the subject just to.
The pink room is the worst one to watch with other people.
Yeah. I love that they keep the camera thing there, where it's literally just the cameraman running.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so horrifying.
Oh.
Pain and sorrow, boys. Pain and sorrow. Garmanons beers.
I think it's weird to say, but one of the bad parts is trying to figure out whether it's Bob or Leland talking.
Yeah, no, that is an interesting part because Leland does such a good job at his delivery. He just constantly is shifting back and forth between like the facial structure that he's got.
Yeah.
There's the iconic shot of Laura Palmer.
Yeah. See, when you send me this shot of Laura Palmer, because I said the shot from season 1 is what bothered me, and you said it got worse in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Season 1's is more terrifying. And the Firewalk with Me is just sad.
Oh,
Firewalk with Me is just sad. What a way to put it.
It reminds me a lot of the scene with Laura's cousin where you can just see her give up.
Yeah.
And it's just that sort of like, you can't keep fighting forever.
Right.
Yeah.
There comes a time when like there's nothing left for you to do, so you just have to give up.
To give up.
And it's like horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a realization you want or anything. It's not something it's not a choice you ever want to make.
Right. I don't ever want to give up.
Exactly.
There's the ring.
The iconic ring. So the missing pieces, which I don't know if we'll talk more about in in the return discussion that we end up doing.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of scenes which kind of tie into the ring and also make everything a bit more clear.
Right.
This is absolutely horrifying.
Like I said, David Lynch and his use of strobes, man.
And like the operatic music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just building.
It shows you just enough.
Yes. It's one of the few times where David Lynch's restraint is more unsettling.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, so this is what David Lynch has going through his mind at all times.
Man, I sure hope not.
And then Gordon Cole.
Gordon Cole. That is what this movie is missing. Not Gordon Cole specifically, but that sort of that lighter stuff.
Factor of from extremely sad scenes to uplifting and happy scenes just spliced.
It just makes you sad, man.
It just makes you sad. Wrapped in
plastic.
She's dead. Wrapped in plastic.
There she is, wrapped in plastic.
So one of the things I was going to talk about was it actually kind of clears up what happened to Annie because they never ever comment on that.
Yeah, that's one of the things that the return I think misses. I would have liked to have seen a conclusion to Annie's story.
Well,
I was waiting for it. I've only watched half of it, and there was nothing about Annie. And I'm still really curious about it.
But there's a deleted scene. It might be in the missing pieces. I don't quite know. But the scene is that they find Annie, and it's like her in a hospital bed, and she's got the ring on, which signifies that she got out okay, and she is okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think a nurse takes the ring and then starts laughing, and that was kind of all they had.
Gotcha.
Also, this cut to green screen.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
David Lynch is usually pretty good at special effects, but some of them, I think he likes to use the old style.
He even uses the old style in The Return.
He's very stuck in his ways, I feel, but he does know how to do good special effects. Like it shouldn't be understated that he is pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Smooth criminal. Ding 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 ding.
Right.
Wrapped in plastic.
Wrapped in plastic.
Plastic.
I also love the atmosphere that the Red Room creates.
Well, yeah, it's like at the same time, it gives off this kind of vibe of being dark because of the colors and the scheme and everything, but also it seems like a peaceful place.
Yes, it seems super peaceful and hopeful and nice, but it's actually like horrible.
Well, yeah, and I also like how it's the significance of death. Like anyone who goes to the Red Room is dead.
Except for
They-
Special Agent Dale Cooper.
Well, they may have doppelgangers, which allow them to return, but they're
Right.
dead for the best part.
Right.
Like here, Leland is dead.
Wrapped in plastic.
Wrapped in plastic.
Wrapped in curtains.
It still messes with me how they shot everything in reverse.
Man, I have no idea how they were able to pull
Must
that
have
off.
been such a tedious process.
He stole my
Also,
corn.
this corn scene, like the reverse eating.
It's so disgusting.
Yeah, it's horrible. Monkey.
Monkey. Monkey.
I'm telling you, that's what
Judy.
David Lynch has in his life, in his head at all times.
Does David Lynch have a pet monkey?
Probably.
He should.
I'd have
has
to.
to.
Wrapped
right?
in plastic, and we're back where we started.
She's dead.
Wrapped in plastic.
I like that Leland cleaned her lipstick off.
Yeah.
He cleaned her up before he threw her in the river.
Yeah.
Man,
I will say though now this ending it's I'll just say it. It's nice
yeah, it's very nice.
because you get to see your boy.
I'm always down to see more of Special Agent Dale Cooper.
Yeah.
So this is after season 2, right?
Not.
I don't think
yes,
so.
but
I don't think time works the same way in the Black Lodge as it does in real life. I don't.
Right, but
I didn't expect this movie to have a light note, happy ending the way it does.
Honestly, I expected it to end on hunky.
I was saying, hunky.
well, like this is season 2 Dale Cooper, or
Right.
season 2.5 Dale Cooper.
Right.
Who's already been through everything? He's just like, yeah, I'm chilling. See, I wouldn't mind chilling in the Black Lodge for like 25 years. You could just sit down, play some games, watch some movies.
Talk with the arm.
Talk with the arm.
Hey, hey, so what are you getting up to today?
Well, and then once he turns into, a brain on a stick.
We're talking over this, but it's a wonderful scene.
Absolutely. Well, there's no dialogue, so we kind of have to talk over it because people can't hear Josh.
Right, I know, but also
Just be silent.
I just wanted to comment on like how it is a wonderful scene.
Absolutely.
And,
It's a happy ending, and Laura.
surprisingly heartwarming.
I like the
Yeah.
I like the implication that Cooper is the angel too.
Yeah.
Which
And that's
also
the angel from the photo.
right, but Cooper is Laura's angel. Cooper is the one who is able to.
He told her to take the ring and everything.
He's the one who's able to give her peace,
Yeah,
which I really like.
yeah. And I think like it's bittersweet, because she got raped and murdered, but at the same time you're like she got raped and murdered, and in doing so escaped the worst existence of potentially people that she loves.
Right. And she got to meet Special Agent Dale Cooper, which is all anyone could ever hope for.
And spent 25 years with Dale Cooper.
I spend the rest of my life with Dale Cooper.
Same.
Same.
This is
Plus
damn good coffee.
again, I can't shout him out enough. My man Angelo Badalamenti.
Absolutely. Stellar. Stellar.
So
You know what I want to see? I just want to see Pete go fishing. That's all I want. I want him to finally get to go fishing. Not from the percolator either.
I just want to see my man go fishing for freedom.
yeah.
My boy has been ruined by Catherine, and he deserves happiness, and not with a doorknob.
Not with a doorknob.
Mm.
Man.
Wow.
What a movie!
Absolutely. Once again, I think it's a great film. I know a lot of people don't like it. I get that. I get it, but I can even understand why people don't like it, because there are a lot of people. Number one, while it does play to Lynch's audience, it doesn't really. It plays to his audience, but at the same time, it's sort of just like horribly depressing. But it is such a gut-wrenching story with so many. It's one of those movies that you watch and
it fleshes out everything so much. Like, it's a movie that's needed.
Well,
even though people don't like it.
We get so exposed to movies as we don't really think of them as having messages. And this one, it just like there are movies, and I love movies that are just for fun, but this movie has a clear message, but it's not forced over your head, and you don't even really understand it. The message is whatever it means to you, and I think that's so powerful about what he was able to do with this movie specifically, and all of Twin Peaks, kinda, but this movie specifically, it's I don't know, it's really great, and it is probably my favorite movie that David Lynch has made. But
it's the only movie that David Lynch has made that I've watched.
I'd recommend a few of his movies. The Elephant Man is a great one.
Elephant Man is great, yeah.
But yeah, it's.
No, I'm not gonna watch Eraserhead. Just saying.
You should watch Eraserhead.
You absolutely should. Once you go, we'll save Eraserhead for last. Go down the David Lynch rabbit hole. Watch Mulholland Drive. What's the movie with Nick Cage? Lost Highway.
No, is that Raising Arizona? Is that Nick Cage? No. No, he's done a lot of movies. Lost Highway, Inland Empire, Mulholland Drive. But
maybe Nick Cage is in Inland Empire, isn't he?
He might be. That's a very good question. I don't know. Well, the thing with David Lynch is he tends to keep a lot of the people who are in his movies.
Well, and
I think Nicolas Cage was in Wild at Heart.
There it is.
Yeah, Wild at Heart.
Yeah, go down the Lynch rabbit hole, Aitesam, and then once you've done that, then watch Eraserhead.
But yeah, thank you for joining us on this absolutely horrifying episode.
Absolutely depressing.
Horrifying, depressing, many, many things.
Thank you for making me sad, boys.
Our pleasure. But yeah, we will see you next week when we discuss the final part of Twin Peaks. Quite likely ever. There may not be any more after the return, but thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next time.